Hi. Nah, I'm just kidding. Howdy, buckaroos and partner. Welcome to the Haunted Chronicles episode 104. Tonight's guest is our good friend, Kelly Delo. And thank you to last week's guest, June Lundgren. And that episode's available on the on-demand section. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Cracker Jack. What do you call a snack with a secret toy surprise in the back, peanuts and popcorn that make your lips smack? It's caramel-coated Cracker Jack. Thank you, Cracker Jack, for getting on board last week. I am Mr. Haunted, and I'm joined by co-hosts, the baby-faced assassin, Brock Burrows, and our new field reporter, Baby Soft, Jennifer Runyon.
Hey.
Hi.
Right.
And I want to talk about that first, because we're just figuring this out as we're going this week.
Yeah.
Next week's episode, we're going to have David Oman, who was a previous guest on again, and they were doing a live investigation from his home, and we're going to do like a little simulcast thing. And Jennifer, you're involved. Tell them how you're involved with this one.
Yes, I am going on the investigation. I'm bringing my daughter, and we are going to have the Omen experience. So this should be really interesting. It's very cool. I know.
You know what?
I know.
Wow.
I'm jealous of David Oman because if my name was Jimmy Amityville, I think I'd have more supporters.
Well, they're filming. So this whole thing is he's filming a documentary on his home. So this should be kind of interesting. A friend of mine is actually, I think, directing it. So this is going to be very, very cool. I'm excited.
Wow.
Me too.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
how it's going to work out, but it's going to be a hoot no matter what.
It'll be a hoot.
You know, Jimmy, we're just going to have to fly Jennifer and her daughter and her husband out here and do a live show sometime.
Brock, I will do that with the $4,300 that I am giving back to the IRS next week.
Oh,
Perfect.
no.
Well, you know what's funny about that you mentioned that? I just got my proof of health care in the mail today, and I was getting ready to go ahead and file my taxes, but I hadn't gotten it yet. Everything's supposed to be out there already. So I do have health care, so I'm good. My employer pays for it.
It's interesting, right? Because Brock, I got mine today in the mail, too.
Wow.
Same thing that I had proof of, and I've already sent all my stuff in to my accountant, which is fine. I'll just send it. But, talk about wait till the last minute.
Yeah, I know. Come on, IRS. We pay too much.
Yes. Leave the people alone.
Hey, guess what, guys? There's a fella named Junebug who listens the next day because he has to work every night. And I want to say hi to Junebug, and thanks for listening, Junebug.
Hi, Junebug.
Hey,
I have a friend named Junebug.
I love that. I love that.
How are you guys?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I'm waiting for the storms to begin. Doing well. It's just been a crazy week, and battening down the hatches here because we're getting some storms, I think. So.
What kind of storms?
Oh, rain. We need it. We need it. We just pray that it's not going to leak through the patio that's halfway repaired at this point from the last rainstorm. So, How are you, Brock? How are you, Brocky? How are you?
I'm doing okay. We got a little bit of snow last night, but it didn't stick on the road, so we were good to go. But it's been another busy week. But besides that, I'm pretty good.
Good.
I wasn't going to mention it until Brock mentioned it.
Did y'all get more snow, Jimmy?
I didn't know we were getting snow, and I had a hospital appointment at 10 a.m. this morning, and I went to clean off my car, and I opened the driver's window to get the snow off of it, and the window got stuck down. So I really didn't have time to remove valuables and try to fix the door, put something over it. So I had to drive. It's funny now, but I had to drive down the highway to the hospital with 18-degree wind in my face and snow in my face.
Nice.
It's not fun when that's happening. That's totally not fun.
And the weather people here messed up because they said, because we're supposed to be in the 70s early next week. And they're saying, spring is here. This is the last storm system. And we got like an inch. But every time they say that and March is not done, we get hammered one last time in March.
Yeah, well, you guys need to be done now. You guys need to have spring.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So.
Fearless leader. How are you?
All right. David, making sure you're around. Be prepared. Okay. Well, you want to ask how I am?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Nah, let's skip it.
Here.
No, I'm
okay.
just joking. No,
I got a whole page here.
Yeah, you told me you couldn't wait to do this. You couldn't wait for us to hear this today. So go.
I was thinking about my underwater friends this week, and I'm happier than the blue-ringed octopus swimming through the cool azure waters of the Atlantic with some of his baby whale friends in tow. And we have a special message for any whale friends that may be listening tonight.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're right.
Bless their little beluga and humpback hearts.
Yes. Yes.
So any whales that are listening, we thank you for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with me, man? All right, we talked to Jennifer about David.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Let's bring on our guests for celebrity birthdays because, like we said, Kelly's been in the chat forever and she knows the drill. And she is the founder of the International Christian Demonologist and Paranormal Forum. And she's here in chat every week as Kelly Ray. You might see her name in there. And she has some very interesting stories and experiences to share with us. And we talked for about 50-something minutes and did a whole show yesterday. And we didn't touch on a lot of stuff. So if you have a lot to look forward to, let us introduce Kelly Ray Delo. Kelly!
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, Buckaroo.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Kelly.
Thanks for having me on.
Are you as happy as a blue-ringed octopus?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm almost as happy as that. I was thinking about Cracker Jack, though. I haven't had that since I was a kid.
I was going to sing it, and I thought better. Maybe we'll hear it later. I have a feeling.
Two computers going. I'm looking at the chat, and I'm Skyping with you guys at the same time.
Yeah.
Multitasking.
And the Facebook and phone messages while you're on. We could do it. Oh, we got happy birthday in the chat room to Jameson, Chubby Spaniel.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I think it'll be like 8 or 9 or something tomorrow. That's my nephew there.
Aww.
Awesome.
And cousin Justin, if he's listening. Happy birthday.
Aww. Yeah.
So, we'll bring in our guests with celebrity birthdays. We have a whopping 3. Slim pickings this week.
3?
But there's some good ones.
Okay.
Freddie Prinze Jr., who was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. He played Fred in a Scooby-Doo movie. And he was in The Witches of East End. Celebrates a birthday next week. How old will Freddie Prinze Jr. be?
Wow.
Kelly?
Huh?
How old?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Let me see. I don't know. 35? I don't know.
Good guess.
35. I'm going to say 36.
I'm going to say 42.
Ooh.
He'll be 40 years old.
Wow. That's right.
That's mean, Dave. That's mean.
Yeah.
And you thought I was going to not mention monkeys tonight. Mickey Dolenz was in Night of the Strangler and 2007's Halloween. And, of course, he was a member of the Monkees. Mickey Dolenz has a birthday.
Who's all answering?
Here we come on the street. Get funniest looks from everyone we meet.
Everyone we meet.
Hey, with
the monkeys. Yeah. We're too busy singing. I had that whole album. I loved it when I was a little kid.
Well, I'll tell you a story about that real quick. Yeah. My parents went to go see them in concert. And so I stayed with my grandmother, and the whole night I played the record over and over, and pretty much sang all the songs. Not as good as they did, obviously, but
but in your own mind, you were brilliant.
I was better than they were.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a better record to listen to over and over again. When I was a kid, we had what was it? I See Trees of Green.
Oh yeah.
What a Wonderful World.
Yeah,
I love that song, but it was on a 45 that I had to play my what's it called, a close and play, and it was terrible. But that's the only album I had for quite a while.
Always left them open and played. But we should play the Monkees album backwards sometime.
You know what? That's a good future project.
All right, Kelly, how old?
Wow. I'm gonna say 70. That's my guess.
Okay. I'm gonna say 68.
I'm gonna go with Kelly, 70.
He is 70. We'll be 71 next week.
Oh, very good.
Cool.
And this is becoming a tradition.
Diabetes.
I remember this. Exactly. Wilford Brimley's still with us. We're keeping him alive, I think. Chuck Norris, I remember doing this last year. He was in Good Guys Wear Black, Missing in Action, Walker, Texas Ranger, and he became so famous on the internet for some of these facts that I think we shared them last time. And these are some facts about Chuck Norris. And do I have his age? Yes. But let me give you some facts about Chuck Norris first.
How old is he?
No. Okay, guess first how old he is.
No, go ahead. I was going to see if you slipped and told us.
I was going to. I looked at it. But also give you 10 minutes to Google it, too. On Halloween, children give Chuck Norris candy. True story. How many push-ups can Chuck Norris do? Any guesses?
Can't count that high.
Close.
Yeah.
All of them. He can do all of them.
Here's
These
one.
are my favorite jokes.
There's no such thing as natural selection. Just a list of animals that he allows to live.
Wow.
He doesn't want to kill any animals.
When Alexander Bell invented the telephone, he had 3 missed calls from Chuck Norris.
That's funny. Chuck was already calling him. That's funny. We got Chuck Norris in the chat room now.
Chuck Norris died 20 years ago. Death just hadn't built up the courage to tell him yet.
Wow.
I think that's my favorite one.
Chuck Norris doesn't need a flashlight. He stares into the darkness, and it moves out of the way. That is power.
Chuck Norris built the hospital that he was born in.
I had one I didn't write down. It says Chuck Norris couldn't use a pacifier because it kept getting stuck in his beard. Now it's funnier.
I love it.
I got one more. When Chuck Norris does a push-up, he isn't lifting himself up. He's pushing the earth down every time. So happy birthday, Chuck.
Happy birthday, Chuck.
How old will Chuck be?
Kelly, you're up.
I'm up 68.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
58? 58, you said?
No, 68.
68?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I kind of like Kelly's answer. I'm gonna say 71.
Chuck Norris and I are real good friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Dave beat me to it in Skype. I was going to say 72.
Oh.
Well, Chuck Norris will indeed be 76 years old.
There's no way.
Jimmy, I just got a text from him. You're in trouble. He doesn't want his real age out there.
I think somebody forgot to tell him because that's crazy.
Did I add wrong again?
No, I think you're probably right.
He's up there.
Oh my god! Wow.
Whoa. Hey,
Well,
now,
that was fun.
Kelly and I talked yesterday a little bit about the house that you grew up in, and we didn't talk too much about it because I said I want to hear the story new tonight. So tell us about where you grew up and what kind of things happened in your house there.
Okay. Hey, first I gotta do this. Can I do this? Give a shout out?
Of course you can.
To Nicholas Benedictus. He's in the chat. I can see him. He's the co-owner of my group. And Rhonda, Catherine Lazaroff. She's one of my teachers. So I want to shout out to both of them.
Nicholas and Rhonda, please report to the the principal's office.
Hey, Rhonda and Nicholas. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I grew up in a little town, Sumner, Michigan. It's got a store and a post office. If you blink, you'll miss it. But anyways, in an old farmhouse outside of Sumner on a farm. And my whole life, I mean, from as far back as I can remember, we had such strange things happen in the house. And I seem to be the main target of it all, but my sisters, they also had a lot of things happen to them too. And I don't know what you want to know. I mean, footsteps, black shadows. I was telling Jimmy last night, I was always the target. I was sitting on the end of the couch, and my sister, there's 5 years between us. I think I was like 7. And a baby blanket was on the other end of the couch, and it flew up in the air and right around my face and my neck. My dad ripped it to get it off me, and it was just things like that. I always seemed to be under, it always seemed to really be aimed at me the most. And there was so many things that happened. And
did you see things or hear voices or?
Well, we used to run the fan, me and my oldest sister. We had an upstairs bedroom we shared, and we would hear like this. It sounded like an old lady yelling in the distance, "Help me!" But I think it was coming from like our basement. The basement was like none of us ever wanted to go down there, and so we'd hear like footsteps, but it wouldn't be normal footsteps like human. It'd be like sound like horses, but it was really fast, going around the house. And we would run a fan even in the wintertime just to drown out if we woke up, so we couldn't hear anything like that, because we were scared. We were kids, and but it was just strange, and then my dad, he ended up tearing that house down and building a new one. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I was a teenager, and it's gonna stop. Oh no, it got worse, a lot worse. So I don't really wonder if it was so much the house, but the land itself. And my mom and dad still live there, and it's just, I remember laying in bed, when I was a teenager, thinking, oh, I cannot wait to get out of here, move out of here, and it's just, I mean, we'd have like knocking on the windows, on our bedroom windows at night, and nothing there. And it's just, there was, sometimes we get woke up, sound like our house was being torn apart, like the TV and entertainment center and all that coming down. But at the same time, this is really strange, that was going on. I would wake up and there would be this great big, tall, looked to be a man standing in my bedroom. And he'd have like his hand stretched out over top of me. He was never touching me. And for some reason, I was never afraid of him. It was the other that was going on. And, and I have seen that same, man or figure a few times since I moved out of the house. So, I sometimes wonder if maybe I seen my guardian angel. I don't know. But he always seemed to be there, almost like protective of me. Because like I said, I was the target the most.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did you have any... Sorry. I was wondering if you had any help back then, or there wasn't any people out there that were, wasn't that popular to be...
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it. When people think you're crazy. We had some neighbors move in, and they were from the city, and it almost seemed like the whole area out there sometimes, because they had not lived in the area very long, and they were down just around the corner from us, and my mom and her became good friends, and she came down one day, and she's like, "Do you believe in hauntings?" And because they were having all kinds of stuff happen in their house too. So their house ended up catching on fire and burning to the ground. So yeah, but so yeah, I was glad to grow up and move out of there. And thinking, oh yeah, I'm good now, I'm out of there. Well, that's not quite what happened. Seemed like wherever I went, I still had things happen to me. So yeah.
So it seemed like it followed you?
I thought that, yeah, like I'd been followed. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know if that really was it. Because I've had this my whole life, Mm-hmm. And, growing up, and then I had kids, and, everywhere we lived, and my kids, they started experiencing, things going on too. They were witness to stuff. And that's what really gets me, is when my kids were targeted,
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. And, but it's just kind of been a normal thing in my life, my whole life.
And I think kids are kind of more of a target because they're more open. They're not tainted by society yet. And so they're able to see a lot more than normal people. And I think a lot of times they feel that, they sense that, and they go at, not necessarily going after the children, but just kind of go, oh, they can see us and communicate with us, so let's hang out with them.
Yeah, right. I've been able to see them. They, I didn't know what this was, honestly. I didn't know how to fight this. I had there's so many experiences, you're laying on the bed, and the next thing you know, you get something's got a hold of your foot, and you're getting pulled off the bed, and you wake up, and there's some, something looks like a person, but no one I've ever seen before. Sometimes family members, but standing at the end of the bed, or standing next to the bed. And, it's just crazy, the things I've experienced. My whole life it's been this way. And, I didn't know what, I thought I was haunted or something. And I'd sit up a lot sometimes, it seemed like my middle son was the one that was also targeted, a lot like me. And I'd sit up a lot at night and watch over him, but I can, for some reason, I can see them when they want me to, and I always thought, oh, it's ghosts, it's something, I'm haunted or I'm cursed or something like that. And then I went back to church. I was raised up going to church, by the way. And I went back and rededicated my life to the Lord. And then I met a pastor that, and then I started reading my Bible, and I met a pastor, and I opened up and I told him everything, and he told me exactly, what it was and how to fight it, and, through the Word of God, and that kind of started my journey there, and it did. It worked. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, I'm not scared anymore because now I have the power I know how to fight back, see?
Yeah.
That's a perfect time, Kelly, because we want to get into how you lived in a haunted house and then you started doing what you're doing. So we'll get to that stuff after break. You're listening to the Haunted Chronicles with Kelly Delo, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Haunted Chronicles, home of your guaranteed halftime shout-out. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to give a shout-out to everyone in the chat room, then everyone that shared the pages, because I'm going to be out of breath after that, and then give it to Brock and Jennifer to ask some questions. So, thank you, Barry, Colin, Brock, Debbie, Dr. Dave, Gray, assorted guests, Heavy Metal Psychic Melissa, Indy Dwayne, Jane Doe.
Ooh, I like it. Is it the
Our whale
whales?
friend. Mad Max, Nicholas, Sprinkles, Tiffany, Tony, Vicky, Chad, Paul, our executive in charge. Thank you for dropping all the links and sending me interesting stories all week. Valerie, Brian, Desi, Karen, Rhonda, Kara E., who I just answered after a year. How about that? Kimmy J., Wolfman Mike, Fuzzy and Amy, Emily, Nick, Jen, Kevin, and people who shared the page, Colin, Eric, Christine, Frankie B, and Frankie C, Daniel, Brock, Chad, Russell, Maggie, Rick, Electric City Paranormal, Kevin, Valerie, Debbie, Nicholas, Ghosts and All Things Paranormal, that's Christine, Nicholas, did I say Nicholas? Paranormal Cat and Amy, Scraps Paranormal, Corey, Brock, Randy, Linda, Heather from Paranormal Planet, Mary and Brian. We have a new sponsor, Extreme Validation Paranormal Society, and Tiffany. And if I forgot somebody, I'm sorry. It was a tough one this week.
And that's the show, folks.
Back to you guys. We're out of time. See you next week.
Oh, wow. Well, Kelly, I got to tell you, your story, Jimmy was kind of talking to me earlier today and telling me a little bit, about some of your experiences. What an adventure you've had. Now, you said that you didn't have a lot of support, really, because, of course, everybody thinks you look crazy and doesn't want to talk about it. And now, how did you eventually, move into the investigation part? How did that come to you?
My pastor, he did, well, I actually went to a few different churches, and that's when I, started attending his church. He's gone to be with the Lord now, but he was the old-timey type minister, you know what I'm saying, where they did all aspects of the ministry. Deliverance was nothing to him. It was just part of the ministry. And it was through him training me, teaching me, how to fight this, and, and how I have the power now over it, that I'm a child of God and all that. And it was really him teaching me the most. I mean, in the Holy Spirit, reading the Word of God, in the Holy Spirit. Shortly after I was rebaptized and in the church, and I found out I had a gift of discernment. So that's almost everybody I know that's been called in to this ministry has that gift. There's some that don't, but most that I know do. And it really makes it so much easier when you're investigating the case, and because I can feel spirits. I see them sometimes if they want me to, and so that's helped me out a lot. But then after he passed away, I had my aunt and some friends, and then she passed away. That was hard, real suddenly, dropped of a blood clot, and I felt so alone, and I got on Facebook, And, I didn't even know there was people like me. I mean, I knew like ministers and stuff, a minister and people in the church, but I didn't know there was people. And one of the first friends I met was a guy named Mark Hunneman, and I seen him talking, about experiences, and it's like, oh wow, he's he's had these same experiences. I'm not a freak,
Yeah.
And then
you were validated.
Yeah, it's like, and then I put in to be in Rhonda's group, and she kind of took me under her wing, and I started training more under her. She taught me a lot about the occult and things like that I really did not know much about that kind of stuff. She taught me a lot on that, and because I really didn't have, I didn't study anything like that. Mine was just plain spiritual warfare that I did, engage in it, But I met her, and then I finished up under another teacher. His name's Jerry. They're both really good teachers. And I had, and I'm not going to say their name because I didn't talk to them before the show, but I also had a man and woman Catholic demonologist team, husband and wife, and they mentored me, and they were just what I needed. I felt so alone, and they kind of took the place of my pastor, and I just love them. I don't want to say their names though because I didn't talk to them, but they know who they are, and they mentored me. And they're Catholic, and very loving, and helped me a lot with things I'd gone through, and helped me with this ministry. So yeah.
Awesome.
Very good.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your group.
Well, it's the International Christian Demonologist and Paranormal Forum. It's different. It's made up of Protestant and Catholic. I made it, but I say it's our group. The co-owners, a couple are Catholic, and then they're Protestant too. And which really works good because I don't like religion. I don't like religion splitting us. We all are in this together. We all fight the same enemy and worship the same God. In this ministry. So, if one comes in and they're looking for help and they're Catholic, well, we have and they prefer somebody who's Catholic. Well, we have Catholic, deliverance ministers, demonologists, whatever. We have Protestant, so it works good. I'm trying to get out on Google, and that's kind of a headache, but get us out there, and so we can reach, more people. There's so many people looking for help, that can't find it, and I want people to know there's help out there,
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are afraid to come out and seek help because they see the TV shows. And how everything has shifted to everything's a demon when it's really not. And I think they're afraid of it becoming a fiasco or getting on TV and getting out. Do you find that people are a little bit more resistant to come out and reach out for support?
Some are. I've had a couple that's come into my group that they've sat back for months, and then they'll contact me after they're leery. They don't know if they can trust you, if they dare tell to reach out to you. So they're in there and they're watching, to see if we're really, what we say we are. We're really going to be help to them, and and then there's others that, they're begging for help. I know. I lived it. I know that fear when people are having paranormal activity and stuff happen in their house, and that fear can be absolutely paralyzing, because I've lived it, so I know how they feel, and it just depends on the person, I think. So
I agree.
But it is really an outcast ministry, and you got to be prepared. We really, really come under attack a lot in this ministry, and the demonic is notorious for retaliation, and a lot of
What's happened? Like, what can you share with us something that's happened?
um, well, I had a case. Well, I was telling Jimmy about the case that I kind of got. It was shortly after my pastor passed away, and I thought I was going to do a house cleansing and blessing. Well, I walked into a full deliverance that I had to do, and yeah, that took me back. That took me by surprise. Um, here's one instance of retaliation. I'm talking to a client, and even on the phone, and I'm getting information and asking them questions, and I'll have light bulbs explode and blow out, and my DirecTV satellite box burn up, and our Mercury light exploded, and it's just things like that. But
Right.
I've seen a lot of, I've had some bad cases, and then others that, weren't so bad, that I just, you got to enable the person to, take the fight, and that's what I try to do. I try to enable the person, help them get over that fear. Like if they're living in a house, they need to take legal rights to that house. Some people, a lot of people think people, they come under attack because they're in the occult or they're doing something they shouldn't. But some just have the bad luck of moving into a house that something
Right.
really bad has happened in, and they had no clue, and they come under attack, And one thing in the demonic I've always noticed, they always target the weakest link too. They like teenagers and, kids.
Yeah.
And,
Now I like what you said there, because I think a lot of times people will call people to come in to clear their home, and they're sitting in the background going, I don't know if I truly believe that this is going to make it go, and that will keep it there. And you've got to kind of get the people behind what's going on and have them truly believe in it, because they have to put that intention of this is going to work or it's not going to work.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because if they don't believe it, then, and they're not, you can't fight the battle. You can do a house, you can get rid of it. It's going to come right back. You know what I'm saying? Because, but it's, if they're not completely believing it or willing, or maybe they're doing something they shouldn't be doing and willing to come out of that, or, then we really can't help them. But most people, if they're having paranormal activity in their home, they're usually willing, at a certain point they reach where they're willing to get on board and say, you know what, I need help, and stand up, and start believing, and come around. So that's what I try to do, is I try to enable them to take power over their own home, and, and, but I had a case I couldn't take in a neighboring town, that was the worst attack I've ever had, and it was on my daughter, and it was horrible, and it was from the time I got the call and talked to them, and the next day my daughter dropped. Well, I told Jimmy I walked by her room that night, and her door is always propped halfway open, and I looked, and it appeared to be a teenage girl with her knees pulled up to her chest with her head down on her knees, sitting right on the bed next to my daughter's head. I turned right around, went right in there. She looked up at me, and I knew right away it was not human, and boom, gone. The next day my daughter dropped, started having seizures, and and from there she was shipped to one big hospital, to U of M, and she was having what they call pseudo seizures, which is actually a medical phenomenon. They don't really know much about it. But I ended up having to do a deliverance pretty much in the hospital, and lots of prayer. But man, we had thousands upon thousands of people. People contact me I didn't even know, churches and stuff, praying. And then, when she finally did get to come home, 2 days before Christmas, I come home, and my dog, we have other dogs, but my dog had a stroke and was completely deaf when I come home. And it was bad, but I ended up finding a church and a minister to go in and help that family. And I had to walk away from that case. I couldn't, I had to put my attention on my daughter, and it was a severe attack. And so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how they get to you too. Especially something that's really negative or malicious. They'll go after something that you truly care about, especially if you have children, because they know that's your weakness.
It is, and my kids are my weakness, and all kids are, though. When I get a case and it involves kids, I don't mess around on that. That really bothers me. When they target children, because kids are innocent, and so but they're not above it. They're not above going after the elderly, children, whatever, And
we had a couple. Sorry, I just want to get this in. We had a couple questions from the chat room. I said we'll try to get to the second half. So if you want to retype them in there, we'll get those in for Kelly. Go ahead. Were you in the middle of something, or was it ended? Or
no, just wait.
All right. You know what? We only have like 8 minutes left. There was one question that said, from memory, someone saw a tall, thin figure all in black, wearing like a fedora type hat. I remember that question. Have you ever encountered anything like that, or have any theories on what that could be?
Not wearing a hat. I've seen a lot of shadow people, or what we call them. I call them demons, shadow demons. But I don't recall with the hat.
And I remember the other question.
I was going to say, all I could think about when you said that, Jimmy, was Caroline.
Yeah, let me in. The other question was, and I understand why they're asking. They said Christian demonologist sounds like an oxymoron. These are the two opposites. So I guess I could explain, if you want to help explain what that means.
What do you mean, Christian demonologist? The term?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got Catholic demonologists that are Catholic. You have biblical demonologists, and then Christian demonologists, and then you have regular demonologists, which I tend to tell people to steer clear of them, because a lot of times they are known to use occult, like spirit boards and things like that. All right, I don't classify myself a biblical demonologist, because I studied way more than just the Bible in my studies under Jerry. We had to study every religion in the world. We had to study what demons they believe in, and the exorcisms. How do they perform exorcisms? Of course, all Jewish history, because that's where Christianity actually comes from. So Judeo-Christian is really what I would classify myself. But, it's just being a Christian demonologist. I believe the only way demons can be cast out is through Jesus Christ, and the authority of Jesus Christ. That's exactly.
Yeah, I think where that question was coming from is possibly on the same aspect I get from some of my friends that know I'm in the paranormal, and how they interpret the Bible saying that we shouldn't mess with this. We shouldn't go out looking or to mess with pretty much the paranormal side. And I think a lot of people, try, and I've been called a devil worshiper and all this stuff because of what I believe in and what I do. And it's like, I think it's just people are trying to fit everything in a nice small package, and everything's not like that.
Right. Are you a paranormal investigator?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's I really like paranormal investigators, because that seems to be, you guys go out and you do the cases, and then if you believe it's demonic, then you contact someone like me, or a Catholic demonologist, and I think that I don't paranormal investigate. I can't. I get attacked terrible if I do. I can't. But you guys are the ones that go out and then you contact us if you think you got a demonic case. So I think it's great what you guys do. I don't understand that, why people would judge you on that, especially
Kelly,
when they're trying to help people. Huh?
thank you. And for people that are not in chat, let's give them your website again on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
It's the International Christian Demonologist and Paranormal Forum. So that's the page on Facebook.
Yeah.
Cute.
And Brock, you said that some people think you're into demonology and stuff.
Well, no, they think I'm a not a demonologist, but they've called me a devil worshiper just because they have the interpretation of the Bible that no one's supposed to go out looking for the unknown or messing with it, and it's because there's a bunch of people out there that think everything goes into a nice shiny little box and nothing can expand out of that.
Right, and when you start looking at things that you shouldn't be looking at, then you're a devil worshiper. I've heard that phrase before too. Yeah,
I understand that because I've even been called that.
But see, that's why people were afraid. Yeah, that's why people were afraid to ask for help. Because you get tagged crazy, devil worshiper, all this insanity.
You sure do, and I understand. I've been.
Oh, go ahead.
I've been there, and they don't understand. I've had people constantly, contact me. Well, what is it exactly that you do? And it's people in the church, and Christians and stuff, and sometimes I just say, well, just Google it.
Right.
It depends on if they're truly wondering, or if they're, you get people that try to harass you too. So,
And I know we're running out of time, but I think a lot of times you get a lot of people that consider themselves very religious, which I consider myself very religious, but not in a religion aspect. I'm wide open, but a lot of times they don't believe this stuff can just happen. It's something you did to cause it.
Right, and that's not true. I mean, it is in some cases with some people if they get into the occult and stuff, but others just have the bad luck of moving into a house that had something bad happen in the previous owners. It's people want to do that. They want to put everything in a box, like you said, but it's not that simple.
Kelly,
we got to go.
Remember we said how quick it's going to go by?
Oh, yeah.
Hours already gone. Next week, Jennifer, field reporter at David Oman's house, or driving on the way anyway. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Brock. Jennifer, Dr. Dave, Paul. Thank you, all listeners. See you next week on the Haunted Chronicles. Good night.
Bye.